Hello Lolo, Combat here and welcome back to another Marvel Snot video. I'm going to do something a little different here. I normally do my meta videos, like 10 decks on Sundays. I'm still going to do them, but I'm also going to add in like a little catch up, a review of the week, talking about how the new card, if it was worth getting, if it changed any of the meta, anything like that. If there's any patches, we'll talk about them, and I'll take some questions from the community. So let's get straight into it, shall we? Hercules. This was a new card this week, Series 5. Garbage. Right. His effect is so cool. I like it, throwing it around. But 4 cost makes him kind of unusable, really, in most move decks. He has seemed to have found a home in Phoenix Force decks. So if you're a Phoenix Force player, he's great in there because you can play it late there. Right? You can actually afford to play it on 5 if you can get your Phoenix Force down on 4, right? So you can afford to play him later in those type of decks, because then he gets the benefit of it on the last turn or turn 5 or whatever, right? So he is playable in that deck, but in like a normal move deck, stuff like that, it's just not. So if he was a free cost, I think he'd be good. If he was like a free 4 or free 5, whatever, and he was Series 4, it'd be decent. For Series 5, it's never worth 6k, it's not even worth opening Spotlight caches, really. What was in the caches this week? I honestly can't remember, but it wasn't a very good week to open it, was it? So, I would pass on this card if you haven't already passed. Don't get him. It's pretty garbage. He probably will get buffed. I'd be shocked if they don't make him a free cost at some point. Anyways, let's look at the cards that were buffed and nerfed this week, shall we? So, we had the big patch this week. Angel made 0 effect, right? I've not seen the card. It's just not gonna, you're probably not gonna see it. This is more for lower pool people, right? Pool 2s and 3s. He probably gets played a lot down there because, you know, he's just a way to fit in your deck and getting him out, right? So for most people, it doesn't affect it. Kingpin, probably the second best change. He is actually fantastic. I've had 2 videos in a row out with him in here, and he features a couple of times in the meta decks I've got for us today. Oh, what meta decks? I say meta decks, but the fun decks, right? Yeah, fantastic. I like the change to him. I did like his old style, his old one where he's killed the card, but it was weak and you couldn't use it. This one is very usable. Quake, probably the best change. This is super flexible. I don't think people really understand how good this is right now. Like, a lot of the top people do, and are putting in the decks to get used to playing with it and around it. Like, the possibility of Quake, just because she's a 2 cost, she's fantastic. Her ability, swap the over 2 locations, that would be a good ability for like a 4 cost, never mind a 2. So a 2/3, just fantastic. Great card. If you haven't tried Quake out yet, do. I've had her in a couple of decks, and she's won me quite a lot of games. She's been pretty good for me. Dracula, again, this is kind of, it doesn't really fit in this meta right now. A lot of negative stuff. So in this meta, his buff was a nerf because there's a lot of high evo and stuff like that around. So it's literally a nerf for him right now. But eventually it'll be a buff when it's just not high evo or big card meta. Like, you can't really play this card right now. And if you do, and they just put a Cyclops in your Dracula lane, you just get sad because he's your win con, right? So Miss Marvel got a little nerf. She's still good. She's just not as incredible for tempo. I used her in just like a lot of my decks for just full on pure tempo, right? You put a card in each lane and you stick Miss Marvel in the mid, and you're pretty much gonna have an initiative for like turn 4 and 5 and stuff like that, which just lets you control the game a little bit depending on what you're playing and stuff like that. Now it's just a little weaker. It just comes on a little late. She's still decent. She's just a little weaker. She's probably where she should be right now, I think. I think she's in a good spot right now. We already talked about Hercules. Annihilus. So I never played him with Debris. It does suck that they took that change out. I think the Debris combo and stuff was pretty bad anyways. But I understand why people are upset about it. Because, you know, it was just a cool combo. People did like playing the Debris stuff. So I don't know how I feel about that. Like I said, I never played that combo really. So it hasn't really bothered me. So just one power less for me, and I still think he's a great card. And that's it for the cards. So we'll look at the decks now, and then we'll get into Q&A after the decks. So let's have a quick look at the decks. Oops. There we go. So the first deck I'll show off here, like always, these are fun / meta decks. I took them from all over the spot, Twitter, Untapped GG, all that stuff, YouTube, some parts, right? So first deck is going to be my Fisk is Silky deck that I've played. This has been my favorite deck by a long shot right now. This is incredible. It has been absolutely farming for me right now. If you haven't tried this deck, give it a go. I swear, it's stupidly fun and it's decent enough. The one downside is Kyera kind of messes you up a lot. If you get Kyera'd, you're kind of upset, but for the most part, it's really fun. Give it a go. Oh, can I not use that? Next up is, this is like the junk move deck. I also did a video. The first two decks I did a video on. You can check them out on my channel. This is one I got from Untapped. I can't remember who. Someone must have shared it because it was kicking off, and I've seen it quite a few times on Twitter last night, anyways, as well. So somebody must have shared it. I found it on Untapped because I was looking for more Kingpin and Quake decks, and this is the one with the junk and the Miss Marvel in here. It's got 2 nerf cards. If you want more on these first 2 decks, check the videos on my channel because I've just gone over them and done a video on them. Next up, this Phoenix Force list that I'm probably going to do a video on at some point because it's really good, I believe. This might be Safety Blade doing. I know he was a big Phoenix Force fan. I'm not sure if this is his exact list. I'll have to check, and I'll probably use his list because he's the one person I follow, at least, that I know loves Phoenix Force. He was using it for a while. He's always like been some sort of fan for Phoenix Force. So if you want a Phoenix Force deck, check out Safety Blade. And this must be similar to the list, if not exact list. Let's go next deck. Look at this Thanos Blob Lockjaw stuff. I'm just going to quickly jump over this because, quite frankly, you've probably seen it everywhere. We're all sick of it. Thanos has been here for a week or 2 now. We're all tired of it and we need it gone. Pretty much. Hela with the Black Knight. This deck kind of quickly fell off, which kind of surprised me because Black Knight and Ebony Blade is just Ebony Blade might be one of the most broken cards in the game because it can't have its power reduced, it can't be destroyed. It's just actually a broken card because you need like a lot of setup, right? You need Black Knight, then you need a discard, then you need to play the Ebony Blade. So it's already a pain. But yeah, fun deck. The idea is you're going to get a big Black Knight. You've got Dracula in here because you've got a lot of power. You can juggle stuff with Lockjaw. Pretty easy. And then you got the Hela for the high roll. High Evo stuff. No surprise here. This deck's kind of the toxic deck right now. It's kind of everywhere. You've got Kyera to protect it. You've got Scar in here to add some power to go with a triple Hulk strat. And then you've got all your wands, which are protected by Kyera, of course. You've got Leech in here. You've got magic for the turn 7 stuff. It's just kind of got a lot, and it's ridiculous. Where are we? This is another Black Knight deck. Oh, this is the Black Knight Sarah list. This is like, it's adding a little extra, right? So you've got the Black Knight and the Ghost Rider, and then you've got Miss Marvel and Sarah and stuff like in here to get extra oomph out of it, I guess. You got Kyera in here, which I guess you kind of Ghost Rider on 4, right? And then maybe Kyera on 3, whatever. The way it goes is it's like another Black Knight there, but it's got a little control Sarah in there, so you can do everything on the last turn, right? You could Black Knight, Blade, Lady Sif, Ghost Rider, and stuff like that on the last turn, and stuff like that. Get some big power out, big power swings. Where are we? Okay, a couple more. Another lockdown type deck. We all know how to play lockdown. I'm trying to be quick with these decks because this video's already taken a while. Pretty straightforward. Echo to stop any ongoing stuff. Stick it in the mid. Stop any Miss Marvel stuff. You got Super Scroll to take anyone's ongoing in effects on. You don't need super scroll, I guess it's flex spot. Storm a lane, you got Quake in case they win that storm location and you can't get over there. You can Quake it and swap Storm somewhere else, which is a cheeky combo. Negasonic and just win a lane, you know, my bay. Iron Lad, because you've got a lot of good cards to copy. Vision, same with Jeff, you can reach locations. Eliath, Big Scary Cloud, and Doom. You know, it's pretty straightforward lockdown stuff. Next up, we have the Surfer, like the Move Surfer deck. This has always been like, I played a version of this, like not like this, quite a while ago. Like this is like one of my favorite Surfer type stuff where you had like the move package in here when Werewolf was a free cost. You'd move stuff around, you'd have like Werewolf bouncing and Silk bouncing, and I love that type of stuff. So here's one in here with Kingpin. You've got like Juggernaut and Polaris and Spider-Man to move stuff into Kingpin or Kraven. Goose to lock down a lane, Negasonic to secure a lane, you know, stuff like that. Rogue to steal any ongoing stuff, Storm, you know, pretty fun, decent list. And last deck is just a Sarah list. This is list from the other week, right? This is like the have it all control type Sarah stuff. You've got a lot of power with Maximus and Gladiator, Mobius to counter any Sarah Zabu type stuff, but I don't know if you see much of that. Legion for the lane control, Sarah and Enchantress, Shang-Chi, Killmonger to deal with everything else, right? Pretty straightforward. Okay, let's get on to the next part of it. Okay, so this part of it, we're gonna just look at some questions. I put out a post on my YouTube asking for some questions from the community to answer. So we're gonna answer some. So the first question is, the biggest issue I and a decent portion of the community have the game is the way monetization and collection is handled. I would like to know your opinion on the matter, and since you're not free to play, I'm curious if you could give us an estimate how much you spend. So I like the idea that you can't come in and just drop your wallet and get every card. Like it actually takes time, right? You need to be able to get the bundles of gold, then the cards need to come up and stuff like that. I do like that. I do think it's a little steep to get into, but I don't think it's all that incredibly pay to win. So when I started, I spent quite a little bit. I got like 2 or 3 big bundles, I think. So I probably spent about 300 on bundles, and then obviously I bought the battle pass for what, 14 months, 13 months, whatever it's been right now, right? Over a year and a bit. I started like the first month with the Miles Morales, and then I've literally bought that. Since Spotlight Caches came out, I have bought not bundles. Yeah, I bought like the cheap bundle, like the Deadpool, the Magic bundle, and stuff like that. Like, I spent like, I don't know, like 40 quid on bundles since Spotlights came out, and I've stayed collection complete. So I probably spent about 3 to 350 on bundles, and then what, a tenner a month or whatever on Spotlight on Battle Pass. So whatever that is, what, 100, 150. So I've probably spent about 450, 500 in total on the game, which I've made back on my YouTube, which is fine by me. And I've stayed collection complete. Like, since Spotlights came out, I honestly only bought like the very good, cheap $5, $10 bundles because I have not needed to. This is not me coming in with Spotlights with a lot as well. I came into Spotlights with 0 keys after the first week and 10k tokens. Like the 2k gold from being in the creator program helped a lot, though, I have to say. Okay, next question. What's the thing I'm most excited about from the roadmap? From the new roadmap? I like the idea of the, what is it, Prestige? Mastery, innit? I think they call it Mastery now. The Mastery stuff, the clan stuff if they do it right, and new game mode. Like, those are the ones I'm most excited about for. Like the clan stuff could be cool if they do it right. Like if they can get the mix between casual and grinders in there, it could be good. The Mastery Prestige or whatever it's called for your cards could be cool if they do it right, and that all depends on how they do it. As long as you don't make it too heavy on pay to win, I'm okay with it, right? And make it super grindy, because although there is a lot to do in the game, and I don't think like I'm ever struggling for time for it, other people do, right? I'm lucky enough that I just go and hit infinite on day 1 or 2, right? Just spend the day or whatever, day or 2 days, just grind up to infinite, and then I can just chill, like playing an hour here, hour there, whenever I want to, just to make videos and test decks and stuff like that. I don't really need to time stuff, but other people that take longer to get infinite, they don't need another thing they have to do. So I'm hoping they find a balance between that for the clan system. All right, I think I answered that question. What made you like this game? Marvel fan, card games? Both. I like decent Marvel fan, and I've loved card games. I've played a lot of Hearthstone and stuff like that, and other card games, auto battlers and all kind of stuff. And Marvel is what drew me in. I seen it, and then I was like, oh, cool. Then the fact of my card game, I liked it. But what kept me here is the fact that it is quick 2-3 minute games. Like that, what's I got drawn in. The actual fact, like the basic of Marvel Snap is what I love about the game. You can argue about the monetization, the card, gaining your cards and all that stuff all you want, but like the raw base of the game is actually what I actually love about it. What's your favorite game interaction? Mine is Bass. I'm serious, you can get free 2 frees. That cost 2. One of my favorite ones is Magneto pulling Negasonic and getting blown up. Maybe because I've been playing a lot of Negasonic and there's been a lot of Magneto around. That's a pretty cool interaction. I do like the interaction with end of game stuff. It catches people out, like putting a tumor behind an invisible woman and stuff like that. The Bast interaction is pretty cool as well. There's quite a lot of cool little sneaky interactions I can't really think of, but the Magneto pulling a Negasonic and blowing up, that's definitely one I enjoy. And that's just on my head because the game I played before I recorded this video, somebody done that. I guessed wrong. Like, really wrong, because I had a goose in the lane and I'm just dumb. And then he dragged my Negasonic over that, trying to blow up his 6-drop, blown up, and I won the game. What is most important in stats? Power, text, or cost? And what would be the most significant change after a patch update? Ooh. Most important in stats. So it kind of depends on the meta. Like, right now we're in a power meta, right, where it's just drop big stuff. So that's kind of hurting. But like, it's kind of, yeah, it really does depend on the stuff. Like, sometimes it's all about stats, right, where it's just all about playing good stats. Sometimes it's all about like effects and stuff like that, like Leech and Blob, right? We can take Leech and Blob, for example, right? And Lockjaw, like that's, they could be no power right now. Well, not Blob, obviously, but Leech and Lockjaw could be any cost or power right now. I was like, well, I say any, but you know, like could be any power anyways. The cost probably stays the same. Leech could be any cost, but Lockjaw could be any power, and it'd still be decent right now, right? So in that form, it's all about the text and the ability, and then other cards like Maximus is kind of all about the power. Gladiator's more power, stuff like that. It all depends on the meta and where you're at, right? What would be the most significant change after a patch? What would change the most between if you change one of them? The ability would be the biggest change of most cards, right? Power, there's not really many times where the power, like OTAs and that really affect it. Like, look at Galactus and Thanos, they both went up and down loads, but it's like never really mattered. It's like the ability like changes to Thanos. It's stones that changed it, right? The change to how Galactus works, stuff like that. It's like, so ability is probably what makes it the most. Like, look at Quake. Like, her ability before, it wouldn't have mattered if she was whatever cost she was. It would have been pretty bad. But now her ability change, she's good. Kingpin's the same, right? He could have been any power or any stats, but he probably would have still been pretty bad. Right, but the ability change is what makes it good. And I think the last one. This is a hard one. What is your favorite underrated card? This is hard. I might have to say... I don't know. I might have to... Oh, yeah. Negasonic. That's the one. Couldn't think of it, you know? Just couldn't think of it. Oh, right. She's just on screen. Oh, yeah. Anyways, that's it for today's video. Let me know what your favorite underrated card is and whatever. And if you got any other questions for next week. And I'll catch you all tomorrow for another video.